sitting down with the mayor of Central, Mr. Wade Evans. I really appreciate you sitting down with me, inviting me into your office and kind of chatting about what makes Central a great place to live. So, the first thing that I kind of wanted to delve into is I know we're getting some business growth in Central. We just had the Izzo's open, Five Guys, Jersey Mike's. We're expecting a Great American Cookie Factory.
Well, so the Jersey Mike's and Great American Cookie are from the same company.
Okay.
All right. And so the Jersey Mike's people took the Jersey Mike's. And so the Great American Cookie we have an opportunity for that. And I'm in talks with someone
Gotcha.
From another location to do that here.
That'd be super cool. That'd be super cool. Are there any other?
And I love cookies.
I mean, look, I told my wife, Great American Cookie Factory is great. What I love about Great American Cookie Factory is the old school, like original icy.
Yeah.
The Coke icy with the polar bear on the side. Can't find them anywhere anymore.
Yeah.
But Great American Cookie Factory has them. And I was like, you can keep the cookie.
Yeah.
I just want the ices, which.
Ices. I used to work on ice machines. I actually worked for the company that did them.
Really?
Yeah, for a short time in my refrigeration life cycle.
There you go. Maybe you're the guy. Maybe you're the guy we need to get in touch with about revamping the icy availability in Central.
Yeah, I think they partnered with Coke.
I wouldn't surprise me.
Machines, and they closed their operation down they had on Oak Villa.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
so I didn't know that. So, okay, so Great American Cookie, that's in the works. I mean, are there any other? What can you tell me?
Well, I know we've got Randy Wong bought the Sammy's building,
right?
And he's working through some, issues from the past.
Right.
We're hoping to get that ironed out so he can proceed and get it open. There's some issues from the previous owner that need to be worked out. So the state and the parish will release the hold that they have on the property.
Gotcha.
My discussion, I'm hoping to get involved because right now it's generating zero revenue.
Right.
And my discussion will be, look, put it back into commerce and let it start generating sales tax revenue. And whether you get the money from the lien or not, at least you get the building back into commerce versus us condemning it and forcing us to tear it down. And then we're going to have a lien that's going to supersede your lien and we're going to take ownership of it, So I'm hoping that we can pull that. We're working on some things. The restaurant world is very tough right now.
Right.
Costs are up, and protein is a staple of the restaurant world, and protein is expensive. And so, what I'm focused on is making sure that the businesses we do have that are here that have taken a chance, I want to make sure they succeed. And what we're going to do is continue to try to grow our destination economy.
Right.
So it not only brings more customers for those business, but then you'll have more opportunities for some other operators to step into the market as well.
Right. Treat it like a domino.
Yep.
Once we get more people coming in, our restaurants that are here will be brought to a next level.
Yep.
And then that brings room for the next domino to fall, which would be more restaurants to come into the economy. I think that's great. And it's really cool how it seems to me like the businesses who are coming into Central, or even the ones who are already established, take Cane's, for example, they're always supporting back into the community.
They're very invested into our city, which is great.
And that's awesome. Even with Jersey Mike's, the week that they opened, doing a fundraiser and doing donations. I think that's one of the coolest things. You go 25 minutes into Baton Rouge and you don't get that. You don't get that tight knit community.
Well, it's a concentrated effort.
Right.
Also, I mean, it takes all of us doing the same thing, pulling the same way, pushing the same way, not opposing each other.
Right.
And so with the schools, with the business community, with the city, our motto is a community that cares.
Mm-hmm.
And so the job of the elected leaders is to make sure we embody that spirit and make sure that the businesses that come here know that if you want to succeed, you've got to be community minded.
Yeah.
Your corporate mindset is one thing. Obviously, you have your franchise agreements and those types of things. But remember, Central is by and large a community that is big time Bible believing Christians,
Right.
and they care.
Yeah.
They show up. And
Yeah.
so if your business model, follows that, then you have no choice but to succeed. You got walk-ons coming as well.
Right.
I'm
That's
excited,
exciting.
and it's a new concept. It's
Yeah,
a
they're doing
walk-ons Wildcat concept, which is
oh,
ironic because we're the Central Wildcats, and it's a smaller concept, 6,000 square foot building footprint.
right. It was
That
I knew it was going to be a smaller not a diner feel, but
it's just
you know,
same good food, same good service, same really cool atmosphere, but a smaller concept.
right. Well, I mean,
That
Central doesn't need a
Yeah, we don't need
10,000
a ten
square foot
thousand square
walk-on.
foot walk-ons.
No, I mean, we don't have the people, we just don't have the need for that.
Right.
But it is cool to see even, you know, out of all the cities that walk-ons could have tried that in, they picked Central.
Yeah.
That's got to say something, right?
Yeah, and the model itself being called the Wildcat.
Right.
The
Yeah.
irony that that's our school mascot. So
Yeah.
I'm wishing it nothing but success. And
Yeah, I don't
I'm
think it'll have
excited.
any
No,
problems.
I'm excited about the
we
future.
drive to Jubin to eat walk-ons.
Yes.
It being 5 minutes from the house.
We do
is gonna
that, or
be,
either that or Zachary.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, and that's awesome. And I think that kind of feeds into what your opinion is on what makes Central a great place to live, because that's what this video series is all about. Is why would I want to live in Central? So we kind of touched on the community. I thought one thing that Jason Fountain said that really struck home and kind of made me laugh was he said God, guns, and family. I think, don't quote me on that, but it was to that gist.
Faith, family, and education is
Yeah.
by and large the top three responses we get. We just did an economic development plan,
Right.
economic development strategic plan, and there was 87 members of the community that took part in the questioning, and that was what came out of it. Faith, family, and education.
Yeah.
So everything you do in Central, I mean, if you're going to invest, know what the values of the community are.
Correct.
And it's faith,
Yeah.
family, and education. And if if you do something diametrically opposed to those three values, then you're probably not going to succeed.
Right. And that's really cool that even in a world where it feels like everybody's really divided on everything, you can't go into Walmart and not have somebody, talk about one of those things. Man, Wildcat football, come on.
Yeah.
Oh man, you saw the ratings for our school.
Yeah.
Statewide ratings. Did you see something about a church or something about so and so's family? They just
Right.
did this. It's crazy that it seems like everybody's so divided, but then you step out into Central and everybody's together.
Look, we agree on. I'm not a statistician,
Right.
but I would say 97% of the things that are happening we agree on.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunate that what gets magnified is that 3%, and social media allows, just absolute nonsense discourse.
Right.
And if you read some of that stuff, it's just not even based in fact. And,
Yeah.
Occasionally I'll respond in fact and put my phone number and say, look, if you want the truth, call me.
Yeah.
But
the
reality is Central's not a community that's growing crazy and we got more people than we can handle. I mean, it's just not true.
No, it's not.
And we're a great community. And back to the why Central, I was talking to one of my engineers in a planning session we had, and because we're working with the school system to try to develop some strategies to bring some corporate headquarters here.
Right.
And he's like, well, why would they come to Central when they have Baton Rouge right here? And I'm like, dude, I look at life just totally opposite. Why in the world would you go to Baton Rouge when you have Central right here?
Right.
Well, we have the great schools. We're 5 miles to the interstate one way, 6 miles to the interstate the next. We have a great quality of life. The stuff the city's working on right now for our pedestrian connectivity, and we're focusing in on the arts, trying to grow our arts community. I want Central to be the next great city, not just in the state, but just in the United States.
Right.
I believe we can be that.
Well, and what Dr. Fountain kept saying is a world class. And that stuck with me.
It's
You know,
value. It's values that he has, that I have. That, look, for so long we've believed what we've wanted to believe, that we're,
right,
we have a poverty mentality. We don't want to do great things. We want to sock away all of our money. Which, look, I love having money for emergency purposes.
right,
We've got 22 million allocated by law that we have, as a government, said we're not touching that unless it's an emergency. We got 45 million that is not. So
yeah,
it's dedicated for roads or drainage or just general fund money. It's like, we can do great things. We have to change our mindset. We have to believe that we can be great, and we have to carry ourselves like we can be great. And we
right,
have to love our neighbors, and we have to, respond. Look, Martin Luther King Jr. said it. Hate begets hate. You can't fight darkness with darkness.
only light
You
can
have
do
to
that.
fight
Yeah,
darkness with light, and you have to fight hate with love. And so, what seems like such a contentious issue for a very small percentage of things, if we would stop bickering about it and just love,
right,
just like, look, our perspectives are different. I grew up in a home that's way different from the home somebody else may have grown up in, and that
right,
shapes our perspective and our view on things.
correct.
So it's just different.
Well,
And
and I think everybody in Central has the same end goal.
yeah,
You know, everybody wants Central to be as good and as positive a world class city. You know, I think where we
well, but you have some people that don't want Central to grow at all. But
right, right,
look,
which
I had a landscaping business for
okay,
20 years. Okay. And the most expensive properties we took care of never wanted their shrubs to look like they were growing. Okay.
hmm
And I had a remodeling business, and we built cabinets and remodeled houses. And the houses that you wanted to maintain a certain period style were the most expensive to do.
right,
Think of the budget they spend at Graceland to keep Graceland looking like 1976 Graceland.
yeah,
Nothing stays static.
no.
Nothing. Look at a picture of yourself from 10 years ago versus today.
And 10 years ago, I was 12.
Boom.
Look,
Yeah, yeah. I was a young 39, man. But my point is, look, everything changes. And so we can embrace the change,
right,
and do the things to make sure the change is good, or we can kick and scream and fight it the whole way and realize all we're doing is kicking and screaming and causing division. When, look, you're young, you're a young man, you're half my age. The stuff I'm trying to do today is for your kids.
right,
I got a 19-year-old, just a bit younger than you, that I want my 19-year-old to want to live in Central.
yeah,
And I want him to be able to afford to live in Central as a burgeoning engineer,
yeah,
but I also want the school teacher who
hmm
starts out at $42,000 a year. I want her to be able to afford to live in the city that she grew up or is actually coming to teach in.
right,
And so
right,
we're dealing with real problems that are reality, and we're not going to worry about, oh, you can't change. No, we're changing. So let's figure out how to change the right
yeah,
way.
in a positive direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to change. It's
Yes, it's going to
inevitable.
change.
You can either go negative or positive, and we're
Right.
just trying to go in that
Yeah.
positive
And right
direction,
now is a
right?
very unique time because you have, Coach Semino, his faith
Yeah,
in God, his understanding that things change. I mean, talk about change. If you're a football coach and you're still coaching the way Bear Bryant coached, you're probably not a winning coach.
right.
Things change.
Well, and just the fact that he came from Catholic BR or
Yeah.
even Ascension Catholic, like some of the places that he just that change, being able to overcome the environment change, not even talking about football, just coming from, hey, I was teaching and I was coaching at this school. Well, now I'm at this school. I've
Right.
got a different set of kids in front of me. How can I reach these kids? It's the kids over here and the kids over here are going to respond totally different
Yeah.
to the same thing. And it's
Yeah. And you got, and then you have the kids, then you have the parents, and you have the extended family. And
right.
so we're at a very, I mean, this is probably one of the most promising times in my life in Central, to have the school system and the city truly be on the same
Yeah.
page.
That's everybody I've talked to in these videos has said for the first time in my life, it seems like everybody's pulling in the same direction,
Right.
which is exciting for me, as a young guy. I mean, I don't remember it well, but I
Right.
remember when all we had in Central was a McDonald's, a Jack in the Box. Taco Bell was in Denham still. We didn't
Yeah.
even have one of those, and
I
so
remember when we didn't have none of that.
yeah, exactly. And
You
so
know?
to see in the last couple
I remember when
years,
McDonald's came.
okay, yeah, but to see in the last couple years, hey, we got a Jersey Mike's, we got a Five Guys, we're getting a Walk-Ons, we're getting this,
Yeah.
we just had this open. To see that growth, people who have never been in Central, people who have lived in Baton Rouge their whole life and have never been in the city limits of Central, when they say, "Hey, where do you live?" I say, "Oh, I live in Central." And they say, "Man," like they know, we're
Yeah.
starting to
Well, I make it a
become
habit
that.
to address this as city. I live in the city of Central.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. Because we're in the middle of a branding strategy that we started back in February. We redid our city logo,
Right.
and we're trying to, because geographically Louisiana has what they call Central Louisiana. And so we're trying to define our area.
Yeah, the city
And
of
so the
Central
city of
versus
Central,
city.
like when I call other cities, or even when I call the parish and I call and they ask, well, who is this? I tell them, this is Wade Evans, the mayor of the great city of Central. Because I believe that we're the great city of Central. I
Right.
believe that we are that shining light on that lampstand, that city
Yeah.
on a hill. And I try to make sure that everything we do carries that forward, because I want, and we're going to be doing some Google pushes on city of Central,
Yeah.
because I want, when people Google
Central
Central
Louisiana.
Louisiana, I want it to come to the city of Central,
Right.
because this is Central Louisiana. This is the city of Central. If you want Alexandria or Pineville, then by God, you need to Google Alexandria or
Alexandria.
Pineville, not
Right.
Central
Right.
Louisiana.
Right. Right. Now you mentioned your logo. I kind of know the story, but I think it's really cool the way that y'all went about getting that logo. If you wouldn't mind, kind of.
So the logo was an idea. When I got elected, I said, we've got to brand our city.
Mm-hmm.
We've got to brand our city. One of the key things was we want community input. We
Right.
want input on everything we do. I mean, obviously, we will make the decisions, but I want to know what you think. And so we put out a call to design on our social media, and we got 13 legit return, entries, if you
Right.
will.
Right.
I actually met with Coach Tyler Watts at Central High, had his graphics design class, went and spent some time with them to work on the logo, because look, it's all about getting the school involved. Everything we do, it needs to be symbiotic. And so what we did was we then let the community judge and give their attributes that
Yeah.
they liked, and we took all of it and everything that was loved about it, and created a logo from that.
Yeah.
And so, the hearts with the tree, it keeps our rural feel, but the hearts are a community that cares. There's
Yep.
5 hearts, which is very unique, because 5 in the Bible is grace.
Got you.
And
Okay.
so
See, I didn't know that was why
yeah,
there was five
inside of the
hearts.
heart is a star for our patriotism.
Okay. See, I'm
All right.
looking at it on your hat as you
And
explain it.
the circles is for inclusion, or the circles for inclusion. And then
Right.
underneath you have the 2 different colored rivers, because Central is bordered, almost probably 70% of our city is bordered by 2 rivers,
Right.
and they go down to a confluence. Basically, Central on a map looks like a weird shaped V
Yeah.
with a round top.
Mm-hmm.
And so the logo embodies that. Everything about our city that makes our city great is in our logo. And so now the goal is to put this logo on everything. We just got new signage made for our litter program, we got a grant, and we got the Keep Louisiana Beautiful logo on one side, our city logo on the other. And then, with our pedestrian connectivity we're doing, all of our benches will have our logo, all the garbage can receptacles will have our logo. Everything that we do will be to brand the city, a very uniform. When you're in Central, I want you to know you're in Central.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think that's, look, I'm in real estate. So the brand, they preach there's two brands that you need to know about. You need to know about Berkshire Hathaway because that's who I'm employed by.
Yeah.
And you need to know about my personal brand,
Right.
Andrew.Medine, right?
Right.
And those two things intertwine because I'm with Berkshire, and
Yeah.
it's important to have a brand. And for
Yes.
a city, you know, if you can get to a point where somebody who's never been in Central sees our logo without the city of Central, right?
Yeah.
And they say, man, that's Central's logo. How cool would that be? You
Oh,
know, that would be,
that's what I
that's the
want.
goal, right? Yeah.
You know, and then we have the hashtags. You know, hashtag we are Central.
Yeah.
Hashtag one heart at a time. I mean, that was a campaign slogan of mine that stuck because I truly believe we can change this city. If you give me one person a day to meet with me, I'll change their heart.
Yeah.
Because they'll get to know the true me, not the me that's been told to them, not the me that they see on social media from 10 years ago, the me of who I am today, the me of what pushed me to become the mayor of Central and why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I know that, and then if each of those people leave and change another heart, and then it gets so big that it leaves the city, and now we're exponentially, you know, there's a Fibonacci grid,
Right.
and its Fibonacci numbers is 1, 2, 3, 5, or no, 8. Yeah. 3 and 2 is 5, then 5 and 3 is 8, then 8 and 5 is 13, and then 8 and 13 is 21. And so if you put that on a grid, it's like this spiral that just gets bigger and bigger. It's called the Fibonacci
So
code.
I didn't know that.
And so it's a principle of design. If you design things that are pleasing to the eye, it typically follows patterns, and that's the Fibonacci pattern is one of them. But that's the exponential change of just making little differences every day, and every person will start to make little differences every day. And
well, it's exponential.
Yeah.
You know, if I go and change 2 people, well, and those 2 people go change 2 people, that's 4 people. And then 8, you know, and it just keeps going on.
Exponentially goes up. And so that's the goal. And then, you know, so we try to use the hashtags cleverly.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing. It's a great day to be a Wildcat's another one.
Yep.
You know, and so the school board uses the stuff. We try, you know, again,
we
have separate checking accounts, but we're very much serving the same taxpayers. So we should both try to excel and do it the best we can.
Right. Well, just because y'all are, it's business partners.
Yes.
I mean, y'all are investing in the same city, even though y'all are 2 financially different organizations. You're investing in the same thing. You're putting your money in the same Central that the school board's putting their money into. So it would make sense for y'all to work collectively.
Yes.
You know, because if you do something that is directly against the school board, or
doesn't work,
it's you're spending $100 here and they're spending $100 here, where there's a net zero gain, and now you just wasted $100.
Well, that's one of the arguments people say. Well, why would you buy property from the school system? Well, for one, the school system can't legally give it to us because they're a governing body, that they have a fiduciary responsibility.
Right.
And they can't just give us anything. However, the argument can easily be made that all we're doing is moving the money from one pocket to the next pocket.
Right.
Because that corner where we're going to build our building next to their beautiful building is going to be a master plan corner.
Yeah.
And so we are essentially, they're going to give us that property, and we're going to give them $714,000 to spend on that corner to make it even better.
Right.
And
it's all collective good.
Versus building it somewhere else and them not having the $714,000. And I would argue that a big parking lot on the corner is not the best use of that property. I mean, we're working on some overflow parking that will be behind that whole complex.
Right.
That's a much better place for parking. Your prominent location on your main street doesn't need to be parking lots. It makes no sense.
No, yeah. I mean, I agree. And so kind of